And we are done with our last subtopic under the compound interest, the equations of values. So an equation of value is a mathematical equality that equates the obligations to be paid on one side of the equation and the respective payments on the other side. Sometimes obligations are paid by single payments or more. And again, a comparison date is chosen to serve as an objective and accurate point of reference. And the relationship between obligations and payments is shown by this equation. Obligations is equal to payments. And so, for example, in order to understand more about this topic, Clarissa owes 12,000 pesos due in 2 years at 8% compounded semi-annually and 10% due in 4 years. She decides to settle her obligations by a single payment on the third year. If money is worth 12% compounded quarterly, how much is the single payment? So in understanding the problem, Clarissa, umutang siya ng 12,000 pesos due in 2 years. 8% compounded semi-annually and then 10,000 pesos due in 4 years. So, etong 10,000 na to, wala siyang interest. And Clarissa decides na babayaran yung obligation niya ng isahang payment lang on the third year. So, in between the second year, etong unang utang niya, 2 years and 4 years. So, in between nung dalawang periods na yon niya babayaran yung lahat-lahat. And then, if money is worth 12% compounded quarterly, how much is the single payment? Kung magkano lahat-lahat yung kanyang babayaran sa isahang bayad lang during the third year. And so, our given for our P1, our present value 1 is 12,000 pesos. Our F1 will be unknown. Ito yung isusolve muna natin kung magkano yung future value niya after 2 years. Okay, so T1 is 2 years, J1 is 0.08, and M1 is 2. And for the second obligation, P2 is equal to 10,000, F2 is unknown, and T is 4 years. So, in finding for F1, that is P1 times 1 plus I raised to N, and then 12,000 times 1 plus 0.08 divided by 2 raised to 2 times 2. And then this quantity will be 1.04, and then 2 times 2 is equal to 4. The result will be 14,038 pesos and 30 centavos. This is the future worth after 2 years sa unang obligation niya. Sa pangalawang obligation, since wala siyang sinabing interest rate, babayaran niya lang yung 10,000 due in 4 years, walang interest. So walang madadagdag sa 10,000. So, yung F2 natin is just equal to our P2, which is 10,000. And so, illustrating in a time diagram or in a cash flow diagram, ito yung future worth after 2 years sa first obligation niya, that is 14,038 and 30 cents. And then, after 4 years, yung pangalawang obligation niya is only 10,000. And then, by single payment, babayaran niya yung lahat-lahat ng kanyang utang on the third year. So, ito yung focal date natin as comparison date. So, in solving for that, i-equate natin yung obligations equal to payments. So, ang obligations niya is itong dalawa. Itong dalawang obligation niya. And yung payment niya is of course, ito yung unknown natin, X. Substituting, if money is worth 12% compounded quarterly, so finding for the future value of this 14,038 and 30 cents after 1 year, hahanapin natin yung future value niya after 1 year para makuha natin yung X dito. So that is 14,038 and 30 cents times 1 plus 0.12 divided by 4 raised to 1 times 4 since 1 year lang yung pagitan ng second and third year. Sa pangalawang obligation niya, that is 10,000 times 1 plus 0.12 over 4 raised to negative 1 times 4. Negative 1 kasi lumampas na siya. In finding for F, kung galing ka sa left, magiging positive siya, yung iyong exponent. And kung galing ka sa right, papuntang left, yung exponent mo is magiging negative. In finding for the future value lang yan. So, simplifying further, that is 1.03 raised to 4. Etong isa is 1.03 raised to negative 4. And then multiplying 1,15,800 pesos and 23 centavos plus 8,884 and 87 cents. And then adding, the answer will be 24,685 pesos and 10 centavos. So, ito yung isang payment niya, the single payment on the third year kung babayaran niya yung dalawang obligations niya. Second example, Gina has the following obligations. The first one is 8,000 pesos due at the end of 1 year, 15,000 pesos due at the end of 5 years, and then 7,500 due at the end of 4 years. So, ito yung mga given ng tatlong obligations. Okay, and then in computation for our future values, the F1 is equal to 8,000 times 1 plus 0.09 over 4 raised to 1 times 4. So that is 8,744 pesos and 67 centavos, our F1. For our F2, that is 15,000 times 1 plus 0.11 divided by 12 raised to 5 times 12. So that is 25,933 pesos and 74 centavos. Finding for F3, yung pangatlong obligation, the future value is 7,500 times 1 plus 0.08 divided by 2 raised to the exponent of 4 times 2. So this will be equal to 10,264 pesos and 27 centavos. Now, ang sinabi dito is that to pay her obligations, she paid 12,500 at the end of 3 years and promised to make equal payments at the end of the second year and 4.5th year. What is the size of the payment is if money is worth 12% compounded quarterly. So, in comparison sa obligations and payments, etong mga nakakulay, ito yung mga obligations niya. And then yung payments niya is the 12,500 at the end of 3 years and the unknown equal payments sa pangalawang taon at sa kalagitnaan ng pang-apat at pang-limang taon. So, i-equate natin yung obligations is equal to payments and we are going to use the second year as our focal date or our comparison date. So, i-equate natin lahat-lahat ng obligations niya sa left side ng ating equation. And then, sa right side, lahat-lahat ng kanyang payments including X which is unknown. So, the future value after 1 year of her first obligation is 8,744 and 67 times 1 plus 0.12 divided by 4 since 0.12 yung money worth natin. Compounded quarterly. So, applicable yan sa lahat. Magva-vary lang tayo dito sa T natin or the number of years based sa ating cash flow diagram. So, our second obligation sa letter C is 10,264 pesos and 27 centavos. The same yung quantity but negative 2 yung kanyang exponent. Because in finding for the future value at lumampas na siya sa focal date natin ng 2 taon, magiging negative na siya. And then our third obligation for letter B, that is 25,933 pesos and 74 centavos times the same quantity but yung exponent natin T is negative 3 because lumampas ulit siya ng 3 taon sa ating focal date in solving for F. And then that is equal to X, yung ating focal date, X lang, walang quantity na kasama, plus 12,500 times the quantity raised to negative 1 times 4 kasi lumampas ng 1 taon from our focal date, our future value, plus X, yung unknown payment natin, times the same quantity but yung T natin is negative 2.5 because from our focal date, there are 2.5 year taken sa ating X. And so, simplifying further, yung quantity natin sa loob is 1.03. And this quantity is applicable sa lahat except lang sa X, which is our focal date. And then, This quantity will be, the first quantity will be 9,842 pesos and 20 centavos. And the second one will be 8,102 pesos and 71 centavos. The third one will be 18,000 pesos and 18,189 pesos and 40 centavos, equal to our X as a single payment, plus 11,106 pesos and 9 centavos, plus 0.0744 times X. So this quantity is equal to 0.744, and then multiply natin by X. And so adding the three values sa ating left side ng ating equation, that will be equal to 36,134 pesos and 31 centavos, equal to this one, 11,106 and 9 centavos. Combining yung dalawang X variables natin, may 1 kasi dito. So 1 plus 0.744, that is 1.744x. Then ililipat natin yung 11,000 from right to left of our equation. That will be equal to 25,028 pesos and 22 centavos, equal to 1.744x. Dividing both sides by 1.744 in order to find for the value of x, which is our single payment. That is 14,351 pesos and 4 centavos. Ito yung babayaran niya during the second year and the time in between the fourth and the fifth year. So that is 14,351 pesos and 4 centavos. So that concludes our topic for the compound interest. If you have any questions, just comment down on our Schoology.